Hi Capricorn, welcome to your June 2022 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cappy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So before we get into it, I just wanted to say Mindset Magic goes live on June the 7th. I'm really excited about bringing this course to you guys. I've worked really hard on it and I truly hope that you love it as much as I do. It's going to be delivered over several different components, but I will say this: if you love my chakra meditations, you are absolutely going to love this, because that is it's a core component of what I've created for you. On top of that, you will have quarterly community calls with myself where we'll be doing all kinds of weird and wonderful things, including energy work. If you've been with me long enough, you know I'm massive on this. And also on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, you get access to the Reydiant Reality Course Alums Facebook group, which you can only be a part of if you have taken one of my courses or if you're about to. So with that said, thank you so much for letting me share that with you. Obviously, this is my business, so I have to get it out there somehow. For your actions and options, actions and interactions with the world at large, you've got the Seven of Cups. So I'm going to say to you what I say to everyone when this card comes up: you got to put something down, Capricorn. This card always says to me that someone has way too many plates in the air, and what happens when you've got too many plates in the air? Eventually you're going to drop something. So you need to streamline your focus now. This is about really cutting away what is superfluous, or what's taking up your time, effort and energy that you don't really want to be putting your time, effort and energy into. So be honest with yourself this month and be really clear about what makes the cut, what you're putting your time, your effort and your energy into. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Two of Pentacles. So you could be having a lot of conversations about your resources this month, about what you're paying for, what you're buying, whether it does what it says on the tin. With that Seven of Cups here as well, I would I would be conscious, or at least be mindful this month, of where you are, maybe where you're allowing your heart to lead and where you're allowing your heart to lead and maybe not necessarily your Capricornian brain. In terms of communications, there's going to be a lot of conversations this month about finances, about resources. It's possibly likely as well that you and a partner may be looking at where your costs are either unevenly stacked or where they need to be tightened up in some way. For your love and relations, you have the Eight of Swords. So when it comes to partnerships, relationships and connections of all sorts on a personal level, that Eight of Swords, this is maybe something in the relationship feels restricted or confined. With that Two of Pentacles, this might be that you and your partner have very different ideas on the way that something should be, and it might be that you guys are, it could be creating a little bit of a clash because you're approaching things from very different ways. This, I think, in a lot of ways, the cards are really asking you to remember each other's love language this month. Okay, so all right, yes, you know what, we approach things in very different ways, but that's actually the strength here. When it comes to those of you that are single, honestly, this kind of feels like, I kind of get the sense that this month a lot of you are going to be like, you know what, why do I keep attracting this same one person? And what I mean by that is, you know, we've all got relationships and breakups and stuff in our history, and but sometimes we get stuck on a loop, like a certain loop. So if you keep meeting the same type of person, this month you're going to be prompted to ask why. You may have a conversation, you may have an experience if you're single, and you think, yeah, hang on a sec, this is like the third person that I've met that reminds me of that person that I dated however many moons ago. What you're being asked to really consider here is, what about that relationship haven't you fully cleansed out of your life in some way? For those of you that are partnered or married, like I said, you got to find a new way to approach something this month, because it looks like you guys are, it's almost like you're butting heads, and we know Capricorn can butt heads, right? And most of the time you guys will win. For your money and materials, you've got the World card. So this is really nice. For those of you that are employed and out there and working, this could be a boost to the finances. This could, the World card for me usually shows up with like promotions. Definitely a lot of that kind of energy. It's graduating kind of energy, maybe moving to the next pay bracket for some of you. If you have been in a job for a certain amount of time and you're kind of on the fence about it, this could be where an employer comes to you and says, look, we just want you to know that you're actually doing really well. Here's a little, you know, financial bonus or a blessing of some kind. The challenge that you're going to have with this though, because it looks like either your monies or the partner's monies are elevating, but the challenge that you have here, it's like maybe your partner, if you are partnered, says, well, you know, with that money, we should do this, this, and this. And you're like, well, no, actually, I was planning to do this, this, and this with it. So you're having to find a way to navigate those financial waters with your significant other. But finances look good. Health actually looks good this month as well. For your first week of the month, you have the Star card. Okay, so there is wood for the trees here. You will be able to see a way out of this, and you will be able to see a way to move beyond what it is that's holding you back. I actually feel like this Star card, like, you can see the finished product in your mind, like you know where everything's going, but at the moment, to everyone around you, especially if you're partnered, it just looks like a big old mess. This, you know, in order to get round some of the potentially sticky communications, it might be a plan or an idea for you to outline what your vision is more clearly so that others can see it alongside you. For that, so, you know, that second week of the month, this is really about sharing your longer term plans, what they actually look like. For your second week of the month, you've got the Moon card. There's something going on with the money here. You know, like I said, your personal resources look like there's some boost coming there, but it looks like there's some challenging conversations coming up around money this month, and that second week looks like it will do it. For your third week of the month, you have the Lovers card, and you've got this underneath the Eight of Swords. So it looks like you and a significant other, if you have one, are making some choices or some decisions this month that are going to have far-reaching ripples. So whatever choices or decisions you're making this month, it's like the results of those conversations or the things that you're putting in place, they go far out. It's not just like, oh, we make this decision now and that's the end of it. It will be something that continues to permeate life. So just be sure to be sure. For those of you that are single and looking, I mean, yeah, especially because the Lovers card is next to the Moon card, it's just like there's this echo. It's like you're looking at this person and you're thinking, what, you really remind me of so-and-so. And it's like, you know, what was happening with you at the time of dating that person? What were you letting go of? What were you trying to do with your life? Ask yourself where the similarities are in this third week of the month. For the fourth week, you have the Judgment card. So there's a big change coming up here to the money, to the finances, and to the career. I don't think it's a problem. I actually think that this could be a really nice boost to the finances. But, you know, sometimes that's the problem, isn't it? That, you know, when money comes into our life, the partner's like, oh, yes, well, now we can do this, this, and this. And it's like, well, hang on a sec. Technically, this is kind of my money. So it's just, it'll be interesting to see how it shows up. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, for some of you, I'm not a doctor, can't give you medical advice, but if you've had a chronic situation or, you know, bodily challenge, this could be a time where that comes to an end in some way. So your full moon is on the 14th of June. Your new moon, 14th of June, that full moon is in Sagittarius, so in your 12th house. For the new moon on June the 29th, is happening in Cancer, which is in your 7th house. So your full moon message is the Gate 45 and Regal, and this card is basically about leading by example, and that full moon in the 12th is in your hidden zone. It's in the part of you that represents your past, your self-undoing through your own self-sabotaging behaviors. It's also your rest and recuperation, and because this card is about leading by example, I think this is really a month where, you know, that full moon is going to highlight to you where you need to own your stuff. Whatever that, you know, might be, you're having to own it and say, okay, you know what, this is something that I need to work on or improve, which, you know, you guys do really well. For the new moon in Cancer, you have the Gate 55 and Abundance. So providing, if you're partnered, providing you and your partner can get around this stuff, you know, these challenges of your approaches to finances, some really great financial blessings are absolutely here. If you don't, you're going to fight over something that really should never be, you know, they say like couples should never fight about money, but life is life at the end of the day. But this new moon is giving you a chance to do something again or to start over in your relationship. And that Gate 55 and Abundance literally represents like not only material abundance, but spiritual wisdom and abundance in that area as well. And so your relationship could be a point of elevation for you if you allow it to be so, by being honest with your partner about where you're at and being honest with yourself about what you need to own. With that said, demand that same honesty from your significant other. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Remember, Mindset Magic, June the 7th. I'll be going live the day before, so if you've got any questions about the course, you can ask them then. Take care, and I'll see you soon.